Hello, this is Speak Up English Talk Resources, and I design conversation lessons for kids, high school, and adult ESL learners. So if you're an English teacher who's looking for some fun and engaging conversation starters, please feel free to check out my store at the Teachers Pay Teachers site. So today I'm going to present to you this lesson. It's for intermediate level for teens and adults. This lesson comes in 3 parts. The first part has the vocabulary, key vocabulary, so you can teach students some important vocabulary before going into part 2, which is to have the student read a short article. So this is part 2, and the article is broken down into a few pages, and each page has 2 or 3 sentences, so it's easier on the eye, and it's better that way for online teaching. The third part is a discussion activity where you, the teacher, and the student can engage in some fun, interesting discussion on this topic. The lesson comes with like 7 or 8 interesting discussion questions, and it's meant to save you, the teacher, the time from having to come up with your own questions. But if you do have your own questions that you can think of, by all means throw them in. And the lesson is very flexible. The teacher has the discrepancy to level up or level down based on the student's proficiency, and also you can time it yourself, whether you want to extend it or whether you want to shorten the lesson. It's all up to you. So today, this lesson, the topic is on how many meals a day. Should you have 1 meal, 2 meals, or 3 meals a day? And here, the key vocabularies, for example, the word substantial, what does it mean? And it includes a definition. You don't have to get the student to read the definition. You can just explain it. And also the lesson comes with beautiful graphics, right? Because a picture tells 1,000 words. And here is a sample sentence. It demonstrates how the word substantial can be used in a sentence. And you can get the student to read this sentence, right? If you want. Another one, key vocabulary here is the word portions. What does that mean, right? So here's a picture of a meal, and then a sample sentence. You can, start engaging, in an interesting conversation with your student by asking things like, do you usually have big portions or small portions, for your meals? And then next comes the article, and then, have the student read the article, and this is a good chance for you to gauge the student's comprehension level, right? And also pay attention to their pronunciation. So here, this talks about how, sometimes people skip breakfast, and in the old days, breakfast was not as common until, when it came to the Industrial Revolution, where people had to go to work, so they had to eat more, right? In order for them to, have the energy to go on for the whole day. And over here, it talks about that if people actually have regular meals during the day, then they are less likely to go for junk food. And then here at the end here, there's a conclusion, or not a conclusion, but it just talks about that, everybody's got their own meal schedule, right? So it really depends, right? The most important thing is, you got to have a balanced diet and you eat, appropriate proportions. And then lastly is the discussion part. Here's an interesting question. Ask a student, right? Do you ever skip breakfast? And if they do, ask them why. And if they don't, ask them why not. And you can share your own experience, whether you skip breakfast or not. Another one is, have you ever eaten a meal at an unusual time? So talk about these times when, you had to, eat a very, very early dinner or a very, very late lunch, and what was the reason, right? Here, another one, would you rather eat 3 large meals or several small meals? And ask them to give you reasons. So this is a lesson in a nutshell, and you can find all the information in my store, and I do sell lessons individually and also in packages, okay? Bye.